Hey everyone, it's February today. Today's my sister's birthday, so happy birthday to my sister. And what else do I know? I got some cinnamon hearts. I like cinnamon hearts. Just like I like hot lips. Those are good candies too. I am going to use the Divine Feminine Oracle for our reading this week. What else do I know about this week? Not a whole bunch. The kids have 3 days of school and then they have the rest off for Teachers Convention. But Teachers Convention looks a whole lot different this year for the teachers, that's for sure. I need more. Need more sage. There we go. Yeah, so Teachers Convention looks different. So the kids only have 3 days of school. They just got home from school, so you might hear some cat in the hat or some noises from the kids. Yeah, so this deck I really like for something different. It goes through all the different divine feminine people from all different nationalities, ethnicities, and things like that. So it is really nice. It has a really thick guidebook too, so it gives you quite a bit of history on the person, and then it goes into, you know, kind of the oracle part of it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I feel like right now there's a little bit of an unbalance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And I feel like we need to pull in a little bit of that, or we need to not pull in the feminine energy. We need to get out the feminine energy. We need to express the divine feminine energy. Because right now everybody's so protective. I don't know if that's the right word. But you see everybody, how everybody's getting fed up with lockdowns and restrictions and all of that. So there's all this anger. So we just need to bring some softness, some understanding, some love, that unconditional love, that motherly love. There we go. All right. Okay. Our first card of the week, so the energy for the week, is Queen Esther, the Morning Star. And it says, my ego is in service of my soul, and I trust my soul's divine timing. So if things aren't working out for you, just trust. And, you know, sometimes we have to go ahead and say, you know, if this is supposed to be what I'm meant to do, or if you still want me to be following this path, then make it a little easier for me, please. Or then when I try to do this, it's going to seem effortless, right? And that it'll happen. So, that's what I know. I know that happened to me this past weekend. Oh, I think I need to, these people, these lovely ladies are not in any sort of alphabetical order, so I need to look up. Okay. So who is she? Esther represents the powerful combination of feminine intuition and divine timing. Esther was a Hebrew orphan born with the name, I'm going to butcher this, Hadassah, raised by her cousin Mordecai. She lived with the Jewish community in exile in Persia until the 5th century BC. Mordecai became aware of a plot against the Jewish people created by the king's chief minister Haman. Using her brilliance and her intuition, Esther came up with a plan to save her cousin and her people. Her beauty had caught the attention of the king, so when his current wife, Vashti, refused to come when he called, Esther seized the moment and the king chose her to be his wife. Then Esther didn't wait for the king to call her. She prepared a large banquet and then called for him. Once he was fully in love with her, she revealed that she was a Jew and that Haman had plotted to kill her people. The book of Esther in the Tanakh, or the Hebrew scriptures, is known as the scroll or the Megillah, and it is read twice out loud, once in the morning and in the evening, during the festival of Purim to celebrate the memory of Esther's brave actions. Her name is derived from the word meaning bright star, or morning and evening star. This is the name she grew into when she courageously trusted her intuition and used its divine timing to save herself and her people. So, I butchered a lot of words there. That's the one thing. So, like, I love this deck, and I love reading about all these different feminine people, but I am not very good at reading names that are unfamiliar to me. So I think when I'm doing like videos and stuff like that, it's not one of the first decks that I'm naturally attracted to pull, but I do really enjoy the messaging. Okay, so when your soul selects her card, the ego has a timetable that the soul couldn't care less about. When we are feeling stressed or threatened in some way, fear can be exceptionally loud and can inform the ego to work overtime in trying to get something accomplished or to manipulate something to happen. The natural flow of energy that's always at work behind the scenes, the universe's capacity to assist us, then gets blocked. When we are in service of love, when we are following the dictates of our soul, and when the ego is in service of the soul, divine timing ensues. Esther mastered this art. Even under extreme duress, she listened wisely to her soul. She became a queen by letting her love for her people inform her feminine intuitive powers. This is her imperative. Trust that everything is aligning in divine timing. Trust your soul voice. So then it says the soul voice meditation. What do I intuitively know will happen in divine timing for me? And your intention, my ego is in service of my soul, and I trust my soul's divine timing. Yeah, because sometimes, our ego gets the better of us, right? So we need to use, like, our ego is very important, just like our stress response or fight or flight response is a very important tool for us. But it's when it is in overdrive or when it's in excess that it becomes a hindrance to us instead. And then it creates those blocks for us. And everyone's guilty of that, me too. So use your ego right? For your highest good, right? We all naturally have certain talents and things that we are great at. Some of us have confidence in certain abilities and we have less confidence in others' abilities. But, be humble, all that good stuff, right? And everything will come. So the next card, the whole card that I giggled at, is what else do we need to know? The cosmic egg. So this is the divine feminine. Basically, this is the source of the divine feminine. And it says, I hold the universe within me. I am the force of ever expanding love. And that's what she did, right? It seems like the corniest thing, like, that love is literally the answer to everything, right? Love is the answer. Even when I go into meditation and I'm trying to learn about something, or want insight into something, how to, solve a really large problem, or what I perceive not as a problem, but a conflict. And it's always love that comes up. It never fails. So if you feel like you're angry and just bitter and frustrated and you just want to punch a freaking hole in the wall, let that aggression out, but then it's not going to solve your problem, right? Destruction isn't going to solve anything or going to get you to come to an agreement or compromise or anything. It's not going to push you forward. It's not going to help you grow. Sure, it's good to get it out so it's not stuck in you. But if you want to be moving forward in the right direction, you're going to need love. So who is she? The cosmic egg is a core symbol of the divine feminine creative force. It is a spiritual motif found in the creation myths of countless cultures and civilization. It represents a birth, a new beginning, or an expansion of life. In the Rig Veda, one of the oldest texts in any Indo-European language, the cosmos is described as golden egg-shaped moon. The entire universe is said to have emerged from it. In Greek mythology, the Orphic egg hatched the primordial Hermodorf. I'm trying to read this. The primordial hermaphroditic deity who then created all the gods and goddesses. It is depicted as an egg with a serpent wrapped around 3 times. In Egypt, Chinese, and the Polynesian mythologies, among many others, creation begins with an egg, and in the Christian tradition, Mary Magdalene uses the egg to describe how life begins again after death. In modern cosmology, it is believed that 13 billion years ago, the entire mass of the universe was compressed into a gravitational singularity, the so-called cosmic egg. And from that singularity, the universe has expanded ever since to its current state and continues this moment to expand even further. So when your soul selects this card, nothing needs to happen. Everything is exactly as it should be. You hold the universe inside of you. All life emerges from within. You try to, if you try to exert pressure for something to exist before it's ready, that new life within you won't have the time it needs to fully form. Right? So a lot of this, right, when it's talking about the ego and it's talking about pushing things, it's not going to work. But she came, even though what she did was manipulative, she came at it from the point of love. and for the highest good of all. Okay? And I think that's important, right? Just because you are going to get something out of it, right? You don't want to get something out of it at the expense of another, right? But you can use that, I don't want to say manipulation because it sounds wrong, but you can use that, your powers or your mojo, so to speak, to service, right? To service. Okay. The cosmic egg is the essence of the divine feminine. It is the ultimate symbol of the creative force that exists within each one of us. It's the dark, loving womb that holds and protects all creative expressions of life. If we allow what's within us to emerge in divine timing, the Kairos, or soul time, then what's within us will transform us. The egg is the trust that what is ours can never be taken from us. So there's no need to answer the ego's push to rush the process, to impress others, or to complete something on someone else's timeline. The egg is the faith that our process is sacred, even in the midst of what looks like chaos or delay or even death, there's a tendril of new life that needs only our trust to eventually take form. And the egg is the knowing that life begins again after death from within. So this week, trust, a lot of trust. Trust. Okay, where's all this going? Okay, Mao Shan, the Princess of Mercy. Oh, it makes me have a flashback to Full House. Have mercy. Okay, giving is receiving. The energy of the universe is merciful. Giving is receiving, right? So again, right? Service, love, not to be such a meanie. Don't be a meanie or a bully, or you know what I mean. Peacock with its feathers all out. Be nice. Play nice. Okay. Hey, look, I flipped right to her. I didn't even look at the table of contents. Mao Shan represents the incarnation of the fulfillment of mercy. She was a Chinese princess who is believed to have lived during the Tang Dynasty, which was between 618 to 907, and to have been the incarnation of the goddess Kuan Yin. She was the daughter of a king who wanted her to marry a wealthy man in order to secure more wealth and power for himself. When she refused, the king sent her to live in a monastery on a secluded island off the coast of China. When the king found out that Mao Shan had transformed the barren island into a paradise, he got so angry that he ordered the monastery to be burnt to the ground. But when Mao Shan saw the monastery in flames, she pricked the tip of her tongue with a hairpin and magically summoned a storm that put out the fire. The king then ordered Mao Shan's execution, but no blade or sword could kill her. Instead, each weapon shattered into pieces before touching her body. After several attempts, a gorgeous glowing white tiger appeared and spirited Mao Shan away. The tiger took her to meet Yama, the ruler of hell. Mao Shan immediately heard the suffering of the souls all around her, and one by one she liberated them with the fierce power of her empathy. Yama had to send Mao Shan away because she was transforming hell into heaven. He gave her the peach of longevity as a gift. Mao Shan meditated for many years on the island of Putuoshan. News reached her that the king was on the verge of death and that he needed the eyes and arms of a person without anger in order to live. Mao Shan gave him her eyes and arms. The king was revived and came to honor the person who had saved his life. When he saw that his savior was Mao Shan, he fell to his knees, humbled by the extent of her mercy. Mercy, forgiveness. Okay, when your soul selects this card, the author Sue Monk Kidd articulates the process of empathy so clearly. She writes, "Empathy is the most mysterious transaction that the human soul can have, and it's accessible to all of us, but we have to give ourselves to the opportunity to identify, to plunge ourselves in a story where we see the world from the bottom up or through another's eyes or heart. Empathy is mercy's twin sister. When we can feel into the reality of someone else's suffering, we open up to the possibility of mercy. Mercy comes from the old Etruscan merce, which means exchange. Mercy is the embodiment of compassion. It can feel easy or even natural to have compassion for people who have never harmed us personally, but mercy is having compassion for someone who has. Mercy requires that we give something of ourselves, which is symbolized by Mao Shan giving her eyes and arms to the king. It can feel like a great sacrifice to be so giving towards someone who has given us nothing but suffering. Here's where the magic comes in. The law of the universe is merciful. The more we give, the more we receive. When the king realized the profound act of mercy his daughter bestowed on him, Mao Shan transformed into her true manifestation as the thousand-armed Kuan Yin. Mao Shan is a reminder that giving is the true receiving. When we refuse to release our anger towards someone, we're blocking the flow of the universe within us. We are not harming the person who harmed us by remaining angry. We are keeping ourselves from receiving the love and the light that is already ours. So the soulful voice meditation. Who can I give mercy to in this moment? And the intention given is receiving the energy of the universe is merciful. Like, I feel like that card was like, I think, probably going to read this. I'm probably personally going to read this card over again. And you guys are probably going to listen to me read that card over again, because I feel like there's a real powerful lesson in that card as we're kind of moving forward. So since this is an outcome card, this means that the energy is moving towards that. So you're going to be given an opportunity to practice mercy. Okay. So when something comes up, and you're having a difficult time, and you're angry and frustrated and triggered, just remember this card and remember that you are being, I guess, tested in a sense to learn this lesson of mercy. Good luck. Okay, our action is Bridget, and she's the goddess of the eternal flame. I am an eternal flame, and each day my light grows brighter. Okay, so shining your light, right? Being the light in the dark. I talked about this the other day too, not to you guys in particular, but I talked about being in service, and how like January was a tough month, because we were all expecting restrictions to lift and all that jazz. January was tough. A lot of people just sunk deeper into their depression and cutting themselves off. And we need to be able to be the light and to shine that light for others, to check in on other people. And if someone has checked in on you, you know how good that feels, right? So why wouldn't you want to check in on somebody else and make them feel seen and heard, make them feel like they are important, even if we can't get ourselves together right now, or get together right now, or get ourselves together. All of the above. All of the above. It's okay to be a little crazy. Okay. Who is she? Bridget represents the essence of an inner dawn and the healing that comes from knowing that the best is yet to come. Bridget is the goddess of pre-Christian Ireland. She is associated with the Indo-European dawn goddess and the coming of spring. Oh my God. So, you know what? That's why everything was going ding, 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 ding. The coming of spring. Bridget, today is Imbolc. Imbolc is on, it's like a pagan holiday. There's a few other, I don't want religions and stuff that kind of celebrate today, but today is equal day and equal night. And it's halfway between solstice and spring equinox. How cool is that? How cool that she came up as our action card. Okay, my little nerd freak out is over. Okay. Oh my God. You're gonna laugh at me. Okay. The next sentence is, she is celebrated in a Celtic festival called Imbolc that takes place halfway between winter and spring solstices. Okay, it is said that at the moment between dusk and daybreak, Bridget arose into the sky with flame-like rays of the sun blazing in her hair. There's a shrine near Kildare in Ireland that is sacred to the Druids because it is believed to have been a place where Bridget's priestesses tended her eternal flame. This is where they learned the ancient healing practices that are associated with Bridget. And this is where in 480 CE, St. Bridget built a monastery in honor of the goddess and created a communal and consecrated center for women's religious life and learning. Bridget is associated with poetry and with all things elevated, states of being, high rising flames, lofty dimensions, elevated wisdom. She is said to have created the whistle for calling out from one person to another while walking through the night, which lifts the wanderer with its levity and reminds her she's not alone. Okay. Action. When your soul selects her card, there's a moment when you're making your way through the dark and suddenly, after what it feels like days, months, or even years, a ray of light comes through to you. A lightning happens. Each step isn't quite as hard to make as the one before. And you feel a great shift begin. As if now you're headed towards something new, something even brighter. Bridget is the essence of that first flame, that first ray of light. Bridget reminds us that the darkness never lasts. Bridget's eternal flame represents the truth that the light never leaves us and can never be extinguished. It simply gets obscured or blocked from us. She reminds us that every day is actually filled with light. There are many days and times in our lives when we endure thick cloud cover, when that flame that exists within us is blocked by pain or confusion. Bridget is a sweet sound that reaches us in the dark and reminds us that we have never been on this journey alone. Bridget is our sign that the dawn is here because we have made it through the dark winter. we can lift our head. The healing has happened. And now each next day is bound to be brighter. Yes. It's emotional. It's emotional, right? Like, it just like hits the soul. So, the Soul Voice meditation. What allows me to feel light more often every day? And the intention, I am an eternal flame, and each day my light grows brighter. So that's your action. Your action is again, to be that light, right? Even if it's just like a spark, right? And when you feel that spark, so 1, to try and be a flame for somebody else, but 2, for the action part, when you feel that spark, when you feel lighter, or you hear, right, that you move towards that direction. You move towards the light. Because it's going to, if you're moving towards the light, right? If you're moving towards the light, then your ego is not, getting in the way. And you're going to have all this beautiful, divine, feminine energy. You have everything you need within you, right? And when we can do that, and we can be that light, and we can have that compassion and that empathy, then we can show mercy, right? This is important, right? This is important, right? This spark. This mercy is also important, because with this, we're basically, by showing mercy, we're getting rid of the weight, right? We're getting rid of the burden that we've been holding so tightly to. And so once we can do this and this and this and this, things are going to open up and they are going to start to flow. So good news, everybody. It's symbolic. That means the days are getting, well, they have already started to get longer, but they're getting longer yet. Like, the sun is still out. It's amazing. So that's what I have for you guys. I know this was a little bit long. Like I said, I like these cards. The book is very detailed. If you feel like you want to purchase these, I will put a link to my affiliate account, and you can go ahead and do that. What else? That's about it. If you guys have questions or anything, or you want to see something, or whatever it is, or you just need somebody to talk to, reach out. I'm here. I love you all.